Today we are going to be making a Georgia O'Keeffe inspired flower. So I'm going to be bringing some oil pastels. If you're doing this at home, you can use crayons. If you don't have access to oil pastels, they just won't blend as much, but that's okay. You're also going to need a Sharpie. If you don't have one in class, I probably have a couple. We're going to start by making the center of our flower. Now you can make yours a little different than mine. I'm making mine kind of bumpy and wobbly, but if you want to just make it a circle, you can. So I'm going to try to find the center, and I'm going to go ahead and make a bumpy circle, a nice medium size, like a snowball. If you want to add some texture lines inside for all the little seeds and things that are in the center of a circle or of a flower, go for it. Now I'm gonna make my petals, and same thing, your petals can be more rounded. I'm gonna do wavy. You're gonna want your petals to look like they're going off the paper. See how mine, you don't see the ends? It's making this look like we're zoomed in really close on a flower instead of seeing the whole flower. So I'm just gonna go ahead, start here, make one petal, and I'm gonna add some texture lines. And once we keep going, it gets a little confusing on what is the petal and what is the empty space. So I'm gonna do my next petal. I'm just gonna turn my paper and start where my petal was, but I'm gonna go up a little bit so it's overlapping. And I'm going to add my wavy lines again. And before I move on to my next petal, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to put an X really lightly where it's not a flower. So when we go to color later, we can remember what's petal and what isn't petal. I'm going to turn my paper again, do my next petal. Do my texture lines and add my X. Light enough that you can erase. Another one. And I'm gonna make this one kind of big because we're running out of room. If you have room for an extra one, I probably could have made this one skinnier and moved it over and had an extra one there. That's fine, because I think in this flower I had 5. This one I have 4. And I'm gonna add my X here, my X here. Now when it comes to coloring, it doesn't matter what colors you're choosing. If you wanna do hot colors, you can do hot colors. If you wanna do cold colors, you can do cold colors. I am bringing, or I have right now, blue, pink, and purple. I'm gonna start, I need to grab some white. And one moment. I'm gonna start with my medium color, my pink, and I'm gonna start it, I'll do this one. I'm gonna start it almost at the top, so probably like the middle, a little bit higher than the middle. And I'm gonna go ahead with my pink and just kind of scribble it on there. I'm gonna go over it a little bit. And I wanna leave some white up here. Try to get as much of that white space as you can. If you're using crayon, try to get almost all of it. Oil pastel will blend a little bit more. Now I'm gonna go in with my purple, and I'm gonna overlap a little bit, but I'm gonna start here with my purple. And I'm gonna bring that almost all the way down. And I'm trying to stay in the lines as best as I can on the edge, because we're gonna do these different colors later. And I'm gonna start blending my purple with my pink. And we're gonna blend a little bit more in a second. Now I'm gonna take my blue and fill in this little space here. I'm gonna overlap with my purple a little bit. Gotta peel some paper off. Alrighty, now last but not least, we're gonna take some white and that's gonna go up here. I'm gonna clean my white on the back of my paper a little bit because see how dirty it is? But if you just clean it on your paper a little bit, now it's getting a lot more white. Okay, I'm gonna take my white and I'm gonna add some up here, little blue in there still, that's okay. And now I'm gonna blend my pink and my white. I'm coloring in circular motions. And that's blending that a little bit. Maybe I'll go in with a little extra pink. Okay, now I'm gonna take my finger. If you don't wanna take your finger, you can use some paper towel. And I'm just going to blend because oil pastels are oily, they blend really nicely, kind of like paint, but a crayon version of paint. And I'm gonna blend in all those white spots. And I also want to try to blend my colors together. And this takes a little bit of time. You don't have to push very hard. If it feels not like it's not very slippery, you need to add more color. Mine's pretty like sticky and slippery. Here, I'll zoom you in a little bit. Blending my purple. And this way I'm going with the direction of my flower. I'm not going in circular motions anymore because I don't want to mix it too much. I just want to make it look smooth. Okay, and there is one petal done. It looks a little bit less blended in the camera than it does in person, but I will bring my example with me. Here is a close-up of my finished example. Got the only color that I didn't use over here. I used yellow in the center. Whatever, if you're using hot colors, reds, oranges, and yellows in the middle, you can still use green, or you could use blue or purple over here. Zoom you back out. And there we have our Georgia O'Keeffe flower.